Hey, everybody.
Sorry, man, the music. Okay. What's up, man?
Nothing much. We're excited to be here doing a live Skiba Q&A. So anybody in the chat, if you have a question or want to talk about whatever with us, feel free to leave it in the live chat. How about you, Jeremiah? What have you been up to today?
So, I'm sorry. I missed that.
It's just I saw you jump into the virtual house church stream earlier. It was good to see you, man.
Man, it was good to be there. I was so honored. Sorry I keep cutting in and out. It keeps opening links. My
Oh, no
computer's
worries.
all messed up. Always with these live chats, it's always kind of, you know, right at all one time, but it's great, man. It was great. I had a good time listening to it.
Oh
I
yeah,
like to
yeah.
I love learning with you guys because there's a whole lot of stuff that I don't know. So that's probably my favorite part is being able to learn with you guys because, I learn so much from not only you, but from other people that are, discussing in the live chat and then I go on the Discord, which is awesome. And our buddy Chris, he's the man. So shout out to Chris. But,
Oh yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah. That's my favorite part too. That's good, man. I love just picking the brains of people in the chat and learning right along with everyone else too. And I gotta play some Skiba News Nation exclusive clips from Jeremiah Dirt. We had
Yeah, I
Jeremiah
saw
Dirt.
that.
He produced those two segments for us, so I played those for Virtual House Church this week. It was pretty cool.
Now he's still with us, correct? Because somebody in the live chat was trying to say that he passed, and I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah, he's still kicking. He's still kicking now.
That's that's what I thought.
He hasn't done any segments for Skiba News Nation because I think life got really busy for him and he was going through some stuff. So he took a little break on doing video producing and whatnot. I think his computer blew up or something like that too. So
Oh man.
we let him off the hook. He still has one more part to that John 3:16 word digging. When we first asked him to start doing those episodes, I was like, man, just do like a short but sweet like 10-minute segment. And so he ended up doing all of his segments on one verse that he sent us, and he still had one more part to John 3:16 to do. So man, I don't know, man. Maybe one day we can get him to finish it up for us, but it was
Yeah,
great.
we'll have to go get him a new computer sometime. Just collect some money and all pitch in and then send him a computer.
Yeah, man. I know he's the kind of guy that could put it to use. He is a fantastic rapper. Man, he's got some really great music. I don't know if you guys have ever checked out Jeremiah Dirt stuff, but he's like old school, like came out of the early 2000s, late 90s, like um hardcore scene, POD, like hip hop. He's got like some awesome music out there, but it's always cool getting to see that kind of stuff. But yeah, hey, let's see who's in the chat over here. Let's say hi. See Dave Messenger. Shalom, good to catch up with you.
Shalom.
See Linda Ingram. Great to be here. Good to see you, Linda. Thanks for joining. Yaya Q. Okay, so here's our first question. What do you think the two witnesses are? And what do you think the oil the five wise virgins have? So getting biblical with it. We're coming to the closing of the Shabbat now. So I guess people are still, mulling over questions from their study at during Shabbat today. Um, I don't know. You have any thoughts you want to share on that one, Jeremiah?
Man, I'm just learning. You're the expert on all these stories. What do you think?
Well, I don't know if I'm an expert, but I have an opinion, I guess. um, uh, so, two witnesses. Personally, I do think there's two physical embodied witnesses. Sometimes people can get really metaphorical with it. It's like an allegory of the two churches that weren't condemned in the beginning of Book of Revelation. Some people are like, yeah, it's Ephraim and Judah. These are the two witnesses. They're groups of people. But I do believe that while those could be true in kind of a overarching sense, that those, groups of people are witnesses in such a way, I do think there's two actual people. In the same way that you see the parallel of Moses and Aaron when they went to Egypt were two witnesses going before Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's an archetype of the Antichrist, and so I do think it's going to be two actual people. Some people speculate, could it be like uh, Elijah and Moses, or because those are the people that were seen at the transfiguration of Christ. I think that transfiguration recording in the scripture is more of a interesting vision that was given on behalf of the disciples, those three guys who went up there with Christ, so that they could see, Yahushua was the full embodiment of the law and the prophets. So he says to them, this vision has been shown on your behalf, as well as the fact that, Moses was recorded to have died. And so if Yahushua was conversing with a dead guy, that would be breaking Torah, because it says, you shall not converse with the dead in the Torah. So that kind of, to me, solidifies that experience was a vision, and so that's why I don't think those guys are 100% going to be the two witnesses. I do think that the two witnesses will come in the spirit of the prophets and Elijah. So, in the same way, John the Baptist was not Elijah; he came as Elijah. He came in the spirit of Elijah. So I think it'll be like two modern day people who have these supernatural, prophetic, miracle working powers poured out on them, and then they start prophesying to the whole world for 3.5 years. And so that's kind of my current take on who the two witnesses are going to be. I don't think we'll know what they're going to look like or who they are until they start prophesying, and then hopefully when we see some guy with a beard, blowing fire out of his mouth, burning the Antichrist's armies or whatever, and commanding it to not rain and commanding plagues and all such sorts of stuff. Then we're going to be like, oh, whoa, these guys are literal prophets of the Almighty. Let's listen to what they have to say. Uh, Hopefully it'll be
Do you
that.
think we're living in the end times? Like, do you think that those people are here, the Antichrist, and
I mean, yes, it's possible. I think every generation in a way is living in the end times, their end times, because we all
yeah,
die, you know. So even the men who lived in back in World War II, they were living in the end times of their generation,
mhm,
but are we gonna live in the, fulfillment of these ancient prophets, during those specific end times? I know a lot of people want to be there, but when I read the book, that's a terrifying, terrible time to be alive unless you have your heart prepared and, the Almighty preserves you during that stuff. So for the people that aren't ready, let's just hope we're not in the end times. And for the people that
yeah,
are, don't get too prideful because you never know. So, anyways,
yeah,
man, I don't know. Like, there's so many things happening, like AI and the cryptocurrency and all this stuff. These are things that for real could make it very soon. Like, just the fact
yep,
that there could be a one world currency and there could be a mark of the beast type thing happening. When we see what they did with the medical mandates over the past few years, you can totally see how one day they could be like, if you don't receive our squirt juice in your arm and a tattoo on your forehead proving you took it, then you're going to lose your head for the good and well-being of humanity. I could totally see that happening now after how I saw
or
them,
or microchip your kids, so that if somebody kidnaps them,
oh, yep.
you know where they are at all times. Just like my cat. My cat has when I adopted him, he had a chip already in his head, so if he goes missing, you know, if somebody finds him, they can scan him and they know who the owner is. And they
Hmm.
could do that to people so easily, and that's a scary thought because like you can feel where it is, but you can't you would never know it was there unless you knew. And I think
Oh, yeah.
cats are spies. I think they're spying on humans. And no, I love cats.
I'll say there was a reason the Egyptians worshipped cats. I think they're, the manifestation of demons in reality. No, there's a reason the Egyptians worshipped them, right? Because they were the overlords. Like, what?
I
What if
actually do
that's
know why.
why?
Well, because back then they didn't have like rat killers or mouse killers, or there was no way to keep, you know, those kind of animals away. So that when the cat came, it would kill all the mice, kill all the rats, and it it was like, because they're disease. They're full of disease, all the rats and stuff. So cats would kill them and eat them, and they must have a really good uh what's the word I'm looking for? Like they can stomach like diseases easy, So when they
Yep.
did that, they were like, "Oh, you're really man's best friend," and then the dog became man's best friend. But I still call my Charlie my best friend, so my cat best friend.
Yeah, I guess when the cats were eating all the mice and rats that were bringing disease, and then when there were less mice and rats, there was less disease, and so the people were like, "Wow, these cats are like keeping us alive. All right, yeah,
Or maybe they landed from a spacecraft. Some people think that cats are aliens. Who knows?
yeah, man." Or we could get biblical with it. What if cats are the fallen angels?
Oh no,
they
that
just
wouldn't be
man,
good.
they just took on the body and form of cats, and they're living among us. They're like wicking their tail back and forth, just going, we're going to, we're going to get you, just biding their time.
Well, that's why I named my boy Charlie. Uh, his real name is Charlie Manson, and I didn't mean that as a offensive term. I just mean that as like cats are really nice and they'll cuddle up to you, and then all the snap of a dime that they'll bite your hand off. Did you know this is kind of a gory fact, and I don't even know if I should be saying this, but did you know that it only takes 30 minutes for a cat to decapitate a human after the person is deceased before the coroner gets there? 30 minutes. Same with small dogs, dachshunds,
What?
and those cat. Yeah, they'll just nibble at you and nibble at you, and then they're trying to make sure that if you're really alive or dead. It's crazy, man.
That I feel horrified to hear about the people that their loved one went through that. Like somebody had to experience it for that to be a fact. You know what I mean?
They were loved in life and loved in death, I guess.
Wow. Just one more cat factoid before I answer this last part of the question. Did you know that cats carry a very specific parasite that
Toxoplasmosis.
toxoplasmosis that whenever humans can come in contact with it,
Mhm.
it is associated with homosexual urges.
What?
Yep. There's a
Oh, I'd heard it was toxoplasmosis is why they call crazy cat ladies, because it makes you want more and more and more and
yep.
more.
It's the
They
same
they get
thing.
in your brain.
It's for men, specifically because the toxoplasmosis comes from rats that are motivated to be sexually attracted to the cats so that they'll be eaten by the cats and then cause to, pass that parasite on. And so whenever human males particularly come in contact with, what was it again? How did you say it?
Toxoplasmosis?
Toxoplasmosis, it actually is an instigator for sodomite thinking because it actually makes men overly sexualized and causes them to be attracted to the opposite sex. And so it's like a documented like research thing that men who are struggling sodomites that go through a parasite cleanse no longer have those urges after they go through a parasite cleanse for that particular things.
Now is that a long way of you trying to call me gay?
Nah, man, I know you got a girlfriend, so I'm not too worried.
No, I mean it does make you want more cats. I will say that, but no urges at all.
No, okay.
So,
So you're saying you
well,
do have the parasite, you just don't want you're not gay, you're just like really pro cat.
I'm like for real. I am so pro cat. I used to be all. I didn't have a cat till I was an adult, which is strange if you think about it, because it's like everything they do is so interesting. and it's not like a dog. So if you're used to a dog, you get the opposite with a cat. It's crazy. Like I feel like every time we do a live chat, we end up talking about cats. I
Yeah.
somehow veer the conversation into cats, but they're just so fascinating. And then the big cats are really beautiful, like the tigers and the lions, and they do the same. They have the same instincts as those big cats. You could tell that they're descendants from those big cats, like Joe Exotic, one of my friends.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe that's what turned him gay. Joe Exotic.
that's what I was gonna say. He's around the big cat, so he's got
He's got
trichoplasmosis from
he's really
lions.
gay.
He's really
No, but
gay because he's around the big cats.
oh
Oh
man, we're gonna
man.
get in trouble for this one.
Okay. Hey, let me just answer the last question. I think we got some more people commenting. What do you think the oil of the five wise virgins have? Um, there's a couple different perspectives. Is it the Holy Spirit? Is it obedience? Or is it His name, or knowing and walking in accordance with His identity? So I do lean more towards the oil in the lamp is obedience, and faith without works is dead, according to the book of James. And so you can't really give obedience to somebody else. So when the other virgins are like, "Hey, give us some of your oil, our light's going out," well, the other ones go, "Hey, go for those who sell oil and buy for yourself." Well, it's pretty much the concept that in your walk, your faith, it's up to you to work out your own salvation in fear and trembling, pretty much. And whenever the time comes, are you going to be obedient to whether it's the voice of the two witnesses telling everybody, hey, this is what you need to go and where you need to, prepare to receive the returning king or whatever? Because, there's that concept that they go to meet the returning Messiah. And so like the concept of what oil is, well, the Torah, just read Psalm 1, right? The your word is a light unto my feet. So wait, let's see here. Yeah, sorry, Psalm 119, 105. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet. So we got the virgins with the lamp, and a light unto my path. Okay, so what is the oil that keeps the lamp burning? It's obedience. I mean, that's the love of God, is to keep his commandments according to the words of Christ. So, all right, enough of that one. Let's see here. Let's see if we have any other comments here. Did the Pope order all cats to be killed in the 1600s, causing the 1666 plague from mice infestation? Oh my goodness, man. Hold on. We got to look this up.
We opened up a can of tuna. That was a cat joke.
Okay. Hold on. Here's a thing. I'm going to screen share. Okay. Did Pope Gregory the Ninth order a medieval purge of black cats that caused the Black Death? Oh, man. Okay. People like to dump on the Middle Ages. For a lot of folks, everything you need to know about the Middle Ages you can find in Braveheart or Monty Python. It was simple, stupid period when superstition ruled the land. Heads rolled daily. People were covered in spit all the time. It was also a time when people believed Pope Gregory IX hated on cats. He's like, gotta kill those cats. They're making people gay. Oh man. All right, I'm sorry. I'm not saying it was a great time to be alive, but it was a more complex time than people give it. Just gonna skip down here a little bit. Cats were brought to Europe from Egypt by Romans and enjoyed a decent reputation for a long time. But feline human relations deteriorated sometime in the early 1230s when Pope Gregory IX issued a papal bull called Vox in Rama. This bull, the story goes, declared cats as the instruments of Satan and said, dude, it goes along with my theory that cats are fallen angels. Oh, man. I'm just kidding, man. So
Well, mine's a tuxedo cat. You said black cat, so
yeah, black cat. Yeah, maybe specifically black cats are the bad one. All right. With special attention paid on black cats who were particularly Luciferian, dude. Okay. So cats went from being targets of pagan worship to Catholic contempt for these perceived similarities to the devil. This seems to add up for modern reader. Medieval people were indeed superstitious. Yada yada yada. Well, I cannot say for certain things didn't happen this way. There appears to be holes. Okay, so it's like a debunk. So it might not have happened, but
well,
I
Catholicism is always to be trusted. I must say that. Am I right? Just kidding.
no, yeah. Well, I mean, I can totally see them being superstitious enough to like
Oh
kill
yeah.
all cats. They were superstitious enough to burn all Protestants at the stake. So obviously they had, Oh, nope. Go in there, honey, and close the door with Zena. Go. All right, sorry about that. I had some.
She's gonna be a singer when she grows up.
Oh yeah, you guys hear that vocal?
Oh yeah.
Stretch there. All right. Well, anyways, it's possible. Let's just say that it's possible that the Black Death was started by superstitious Catholics. Black Plague. Sorry. All right. Let's see here. Somebody said, Jeremiah, when Charlie stands on his two legs and starts talking to you, saying they are your creators, always be nice to your animals. So what would you do, Jeremiah, if your cat was like all of a sudden like stood up and was like, hey, Jeremiah, like freaked
He
out?
does. He doesn't. You've never seen him do that when you've been over here?
I guess
No.
so. Oh man.
He does get up on two legs though sometimes, but he'll be like looking out the window, trying to find like, bugs or birds or anything. But if he turned and he like spoke, I would probably uh I'll clean it up, poop my pants, and be like, whoa. And then I'd probably try to, take him to a freak show or something. I don't even know if they do those anymore, but you know, come see my talking two-legged cat. You know what I mean? And they're
Yeah.
always effeminate. People always associate cats with feminine, like just all the cat logos you see are always feminine. They're never any manly things. So that's my job. I'm gonna create manly cat things.
All the shows I used to watch growing up always had male cats, though. If you think about it, like you remember like Stuart Little,
Hmm.
like all the cats in that show were mostly like male cats, like Furball or whatever was like a low dark like low voiced like dude. He was like Stuart Little, blah blah blah, and then his buddy was like a kooky, male cat. I'm trying to think. Tom and Jerry. Tom is a boy.
Well, that's
What?
actually what they call boy cats, tomcats. So I'm
Oh,
guessing that's
okay.
how they got the name Tom, but I could be wrong. Everything I say, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Let me see. What other cats? What's the Looney Tunes cat? I can't remember.
That's Sylvester, and it's fun.
Sylvester.
It's funny because all the most famous cats in the world are tuxedo cats. One actually fought in World War II and saved a whole bunch of sailors' lives. Remember you showed that meme that we shared like a long time ago, maybe 10 episodes back.
Oh, what
He
was
had
that about? I can't remember.
he had like a weird feeling or something. They were going with the cat's instinct for some reason, which doesn't seem very it's not always the best thing to do is to take an animal's instinct when it comes to being in the water, which cats hate water. That's just how my brain works. But he ended up saving a whole bunch of lives. I was like, wow. So he got like a presidential medal or something, which is
Oh
crazy.
man, I gotta find that story. I can't remember what it was. Anyways, let's see what else. Here's a question for us. Here's a question: do you believe NASA or Yahuwah?
Oh, that one's easy. Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't have this for nothing. I'm gonna have to get you one of these. These are awesome. Just gonna put that. I normally have it propped up back there.
Yeah, I'm working
Changes.
on an awesome wall setup, but Jeremiah did send me this cool painting right here. But yeah, if I got one of those, I'd have to get like a wall mounted one, add to my like neon colored
Well,
wall.
and like I told you when I sent that to you on the NASA subject, what was originally on that skateboard was a NASA propaganda piece. It was a rocket, and I
Yep.
painted over it, and I thought it was fitting. So
Yeah, I love it, man. So yeah, I mean, NASA, man, there is so much deception to NASA over the years. Like they're proven over and over to be deceptive in the things that they say and claim. Like they've been claiming we're going back to the moon for years, and every administration kicks it down the road a little bit. I mean, I remember when Trump was in presidency, he was saying stuff like, "Yeah, we'll be back to the moon," by my, time I'm out of office, and then COVID happened, and so everything got kicked down the road, and this has happened ever since, way back in like Bush Senior and Clinton, and then Bush and Obama. They were all making claims, and it never happened. I know these are presidents, but the point is like with all the money we pour into NASA and the things that they say they, could do. I mean, I just think it's interesting that Trump set up Space Force. Uh, it's
probably right
almost like,
after,
yeah, it's
like he
almost like
knew.
he knew that there's more to meets the eye, or else he was like, look, NASA is I believe NASA is a government funded organization, but it's not military, so it's not as direct. It's a U.S. federal government agency, but it's an independent agency, and so setting up Space Force allows now the government arm to pour funding into the space race, and
Mhm.
maybe Trump was like, man, that's a good business model, having an independent agency that costs $60 million a day to run, and they never go anywhere. It's just all like green screen and experiments. So like I wonder if that's one of the motivations. He's like, we got to get our own space farce and get some of that money flowing into this new wing of the military. But I really think Space Force is more about like directed energy weapons and the secrets, hyper Tesla technology that they're doing now, and drone technology and all that kind of stuff. Um, let's see if we have any other comments here. Somebody said, speaking of names for cats, people lean to ancient names for cats over dogs or any other animals. So, yeah, I think that might be true.
Mhm. I mean, yeah, my cat's named after this man, Charlie Manson. He's actually he came in here because y'all were talking about him. Come here, Charlie. He just wants to say hi real quick. Come here. Oh, now does this face look evil? Look at that boy. He's like, I do not want to be up here right now. Yeah, good boy.
Somebody said this, y'all need to watch Old World Florida's cat video. The only cats with slit eyes are house cats and Lynx's bobcats. They must be related more than to lions and tigers because of the pupils. Oh, that's interesting.
Interesting.
Old World Florida, the guy's name is Dr. Narco Longo. What a crazy name. Uh, yeah, he's got some interesting stuff. He talks about how Florida could have been the Garden of Eden. Uh, kind of
Wow.
interesting, stuff. There's interesting giant rocks that are found there that apparently are the largest man-made stone anchors. And Florida, of course, is a very flat area and could have been underwater at a time. And also is the one place in the world that has gopher trees. And the Ark, Noah's Ark, was said to have been made out of gopher wood. So that's some of the stuff I've learned.
Speaking of Noah's Ark, have you heard of how many arks they supposedly found? Like there's one in like Russia somewhere, and then there's supposed to be one somewhere else. I mean, where do you think the most logical place or the most reasonable place that it would probably be
Yeah,
if
I
it is
know
still
there's
alive?
like three different sites. There's one. I think it was the one that um, his name was Mr. Wyatt, Ron Wyatt. I think Mr. Ron Wyatt likely found the most possible location. Um, there's another gentleman by the name of, I think it's Judd Burton, and so let me see, Ron Wyatt Ark. So check this out, dude. So this is what he claimed was the resting place of the Ark, and it looks pretty dang like Ark-like, you know.
Oh yeah. I think
Um,
that's the one that I saw, and I was pretty convinced the way it was shaped. I mean, it just doesn't look like it was natural forming, you know?
yeah, I mean that's really strange. I mean, apparently there was petrified wood there. I mean, here's pictures of, you know,
Oh wow.
um, so Ron Wyatt, found this. I think it's northeast Turkey. But let me see. Nope, wrong guy. Who was what's his name? Um Aaron Aaron something. Oh man, I wish I could remember. Uh, no. So it's one of the guys that worked Paluxy or no Pelosi.
Let me see.
No, Paluxy River. Okay, so it's the guy who was working with Joe Taylor. I went to his museum. Joe Taylor is a great friend of your dad's. If you're familiar with this picture, Joe Taylor uh, made
Oh yeah.
this femur bone, and I think your dad went down there and stood here and took this picture with it. Oh, is this a guy? No, Aaron. Oh, what's his name? Um, I don't know. I have to keep looking it up, but
Maybe for
some
next week's episode.
yeah. Hey, somebody said, I thought the Ark was in Kentucky. Well, there is a building that looks like an Ark. I don't think if it would float though, but yeah. Have you ever heard of that? The Ark Encounter up here in Kentucky, Jeremiah?
I've heard parts of it, but not really like in detail. I haven't looked into it, but I mean, anything's possible. What do you think?
Yeah, I went there. It's like a creation museum. It's
Oh,
huge. It's
I've
like
seen
a
YouTube videos on it. Yeah, yeah. It's like an actual place where you go inside and you can see
oh
all
yeah.
the. Oh yeah, it looked interesting. I mean,
It's
it
awesome. Yeah. If you guys ever
it
come
is.
up here to Kentucky, we'll go and we can visit the Ark Encounter and go check out the stuff. Yeah, I mean it's really my favorite thing about the Ark Encounter um is they have a theory on how so here's what it looks like. It's huge.
Yeah.
Um
Wow.
and they have a theory that the Ark the way that it was ventilated was there is a giant shaft in the center of it, and it went up like 3 stories up into the ark and was open to the ocean. And so as the waves would go up and down, it would suck air in through these top windows and ventilate the whole ark. So that to me was one of the most interesting, propositions that's how it could have been possible. There's
Why
nothing in
is
the
it
Bible.
rainbow right there? Go up.
Because that's the original rainbow, bro. The
I was
promise
just
that
making sure. Just making
yeah,
sure.
yeah, the promise that Yah wouldn't destroy the earth with a flood again. That's where the rainbow apparently came from, and then
Oh yeah.
LGBTQ, of course, hijacked it.
Hijacked it. I made my dad laugh one time because I told him a shirt idea that I had. I've always just come up with weird shirt ideas, but he really liked this one. I said, we should make a t-shirt that says "Return the Rainbow" and then have a rainbow with the ark on it or something. Like you've hijacked our rainbow, you know?
Here we go. Your mom came in to save the day. Aaron Judkins. Thank you, Sheila. Yeah, that's the guy's name.
Hi,
He
Mom.
has a very interesting. He went on an Ark expedition, and I can't remember if he had Quest for Noah's Ark. So if anybody out there is interested and it might be different um than what Ron Wyatt found, but it does. I mean, this picture looks like the same location. It might be the same place. But Aaron Judkins made a documentary called Finding Noah. So just definitely check that out, or a book, The Quest for Noah's Ark Expedition Journal by Dr. Aaron Judkins. Man, I met this guy once. He's super cool. He's like part-time. He's a archaeologist and goes on these expeditions, and then part-time he's also like a flight medic or whatever, and saves people's lives. So very cool guy.
It's cool.
Let's see if you got any other comments here. The real rainbow has 7 colors. The alphabet soup rainbow only has 6 colors. Oh yeah. Although I heard that they recently added black to the LGBTQ rainbow as like a consolidarity with racism, and they're like, here's our sexuality, and then we're gonna tack on the color black on there just because we got to get black people to join our cause, but it's just crazy.
Have you seen the Biggest Lie Ever Sold? I believe is what it's called. It's on the Daily Wire by Candace Owens, and it's about BLM, and it pretty much exposes that it's like a Ponzi scheme. Like it's all made up, and all the money goes to these transgender organizations. It's so sick. Like I turned it on to go to sleep, and I just couldn't fall asleep because I was just like, oh my gosh, like they're doing so much to fund what is happening in today's sick world with these, I gotta be careful what we say here on YouTube, but
Yeah. Oh, hey, somebody said, "Hey there, Skiba Nation family. What's going on? I didn't know we were gathering." Yeah, we're just doing a live Q&A. We'll probably go for another 15 minutes or so. We're just seeing if you guys wanted to talk, had any questions, wanted to catch up.
and Mindy's awesome, and her daughter Evie loves cats too, so we're cat lovers. She's a
Mm,
Patreon. Me and Opus sent her a really cool postcard, and I did a little sketch for her. She's really cool.
awesome.
So I have these two hats. Look, these two Skiba News Nation hats, and I was just about to ask y'all in the chat, but I just figured I would ask you guys if you guys want one of these hats. What should it be, Jake? As a giveaway. First,
Per- I like the one on the left. I think that one's a good looking one. Let's start with that.
this one or
Oh,
this one?
yeah, you're right. My left.
Okay, so this one.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe maybe we'll save the other one for the alien challenge, the one with that Mexican
Not
alien.
that it's not a
That
cool one too. I thought, that would be a
I
good
call
one.
this one the blue out. It's all blue.
Blew
But if
out.
you guys want this hat, the first person to email us at submit@Skiba News Nation will get this hat. Send it to you. Just make sure you put your address in there, and we'll ship it out to you. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
All right, you guys heard it. Submit at
Dude,
Skiba News Nation.
so when we were in Waco, I don't know if you saw me do this. So right here, I'm gonna try to show the camera, which was probably one of our most favorite. Like I hear people say that y'all's Waco thing was the best. Okay, so right here, this is the pool, remember?
Yeah.
And this is where David Koresh signed his name in the asphalt. And I got a rock that's this big from that pool. And the story is that there are ashes of people on here, which is a horrifying thought. But the reason why I wanted to keep it and why I picked it up, and uh, Pastor Pace is actually going to send me a part of that school bus because I'm making an art piece for him. But I was thinking about breaking this up a little bit and doing like, uh, putting them on little sheets of paper like this that say like what it is and then where it came from. And it just shows that these were real people, and that's the point that we were trying to get across with the whole Waco thing. And I'm so glad that you guys liked it because I've always wanted to go to Waco. My dad always wanted to go to Waco. And then when we had that opportunity, it was just like it fell in my lap because we were in Austin. Me and my girlfriend went to go see a comedy show. And I had texted uh, Pastor Pace, and they are closed on Sundays, which was the day that we were coming back. So I texted him, and he was like, "Yeah, come on by." And I was like, "Okay." So we went over there, and he was like, "Did you know Robert Skiba?" That was his first question. And I was like, "Yes, I do. He was my dad." And he just opened up and was like so happy, and he knew who he was, and I was just so humbled by it. And yeah, I think that documentary was we ought to make a documentary about what we did and kind of give some backstory because it's kind of, when we went to the Survivor thing. I still have the bracelet on, but when we went to the first one, I remember what you told me. Do you want to tell everybody what you told me about what you felt? Because there's a lot of inner conflict in between the survivors and Pastor Pace, who is
Mhm.
on the land, who was a survivor as well. So,
Yeah. I mean, I think what you're talking about is, I think Pace, he represented a survivor from the doctrine of David Koresh because he was a true Branch Davidian in terms of practice and belief, while the other Branch Davidians that were actually on the compound and followed him to their death, kind of propped him up as a prophet of sorts, as their Messiah. And and Pastor Pace had actually exited the congregation before that, and so it seemed to me that a lot of the members of the Branch Davidians that actually were on the property, uh, the drummer, I forget his name, uh,
Thibodeau.
Thibodeau, yeah,
Thibodeau.
Thibodeau, and several of the other survivors. They struck me as more survivors of the Waco siege and not active members of the Branch Davidian faith. And
And
so
they made
that's
that their identity. That was their identity. They called the
survivors of the
press.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so they're really against Pastor Pace, who is in charge of the compound. And Pastor Pace's claim to the compound is that he's the only like practicing Branch Davidian left that's actually true to the original church setup there on the compound, and that the survivors of Mount Blanc or Mount Carmel
Mm.
are rather kind of moved away from the faith in the way that would give them claim to the land. And then of course Thibodeau and the survivors claim is that Pace is an imposter, that has taken over the compound and wasn't even there, when the siege happened, and that the land should belong to the survivors. But of course, the land is under the church's ownership. So the lease of the land or whatever, the property is owned by whoever runs the church. And so that's kind of the dichotomy there between the people that claim Pace is an imposter and Pace who claims that they are not even Branch Davidians. So it's just a crazy mess, and I'm not saying that one or the other is more right. Maybe there is some legitimacy to the survivors getting some aspect of being able to go on the property, and they did survive some terrible stuff there. I'm not going to take that away from
Oh
them,
yeah.
but at the same time, that's kind of the drama there for people that are interested.
Well, and Thibodeau has my phone number, and I've asked him several times to come on the show, and then he had a heart attack, and I know that, I mean, I pray for that he gets better and
Oh, is that
he's able.
recently?
Yes, this was recently. I totally forgot to tell you because
Oh
I feel
man,
like
that's sad.
we need to get the other side of the story as well, and in doing that, I feel like it would really show kind of what you're saying because the filming that we did wasn't able to really show that. But him to be able to tell his side as well, and that's kinda
Yeah.
that was my original vision behind doing it, and I know when everybody was there, that part of our crew, everybody was like, "Oh, we don't know what we're doing next," and then we would just go. Like, it just happened, and it and
Yeah.
it it was a good day. I mean, I had a good time, and Pastor Pace said we're always welcome to go to Mount Carmel. Maybe we do a meetup up at Mount Carmel one day. Or he said we could throw a concert there. He said we could do whatever we want. So, I mean, he's a very sweet man who, you know, he's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you're watching,
Yeah.
thank you, Pastor Pace.
Yeah, it was great that he had us come on the property and gave us the whole tour. And I think we were going to interview both Pastor Pace and also the survivors, but then the survivors like bailed on us and weren't
Yeah,
able to
they
meet up.
snubbed us. Yeah.
So we were trying to give it a fair voice to all the people concerned, but I don't know. Maybe I think Mount Carmel would be a good place for a music video to be shot. You know,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
if the song's theming was correct, you know,
What if we
uh,
made a song about Waco?
I mean, we'd have to figure out what we're saying about it because the government, what they did there was wrong, man. But also, David Koresh was a total nut. He was a false prophet in a lot of different ways. So it's like,
Do you ever notice that these nuts are great musicians? Do you
oh
ever notice
yeah,
that?
oh for
Like
sure,
Charles Manson was a good musician, David
yeah.
Koresh was a good musician. It's like they all had rock bands.
I will say Manson, I think, acted crazy a few times when he wasn't. But there
Oh
was a
yeah.
point probably that he did turn a little crazy after being in prison for so long. All right. So let's see here. If we have any other comics, we can start to wrap up here shortly. Yeah, Jeremiah, do you got your email? See maybe who might have won that hat? Let's
Yeah. Was somebody asking for it, or do you want me to check it? Let me just type it first, but I'll check.
Yeah, I was just gonna see who might have emailed first. Hopefully, we'll get like a time stamp there and know who won the hat.
All right, let's see. And it looks like, I'm sorry if I pronounced this wrong, Camille Francis. Just for verification. I don't want to give her info away.
Okay,
Uh,
so who was it? Francis or Camille?
Camille, I believe. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry if I'm not.
Oh, Camille. Okay. She commented earlier. You're the first person who emailed. Congrats, you won the hat.
Yes, congratulations. So you got the all blue, and then we'll do another giveaway for the best. What was it? It was something kind of funny that we were gonna do about the Mexican aliens. If you can make your own alien, the funniest
Yeah.
one will win a hat and maybe a piece of the Waco rock or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to do 2 different categories. We should do artwork and digital artwork and then physical aliens. So, like, if you paint a version of the aliens and then you make a version of the aliens, something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And Mindy said, "Where's Charlie?" Charlie's right there, just staring at me, just waiting to eat my face.
Chilling.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys for being here,
Yeah.
and thank you, Jake, for being here. And hope you guys enjoyed our live stream. Jake
Yeah.
does all the editing, and I have so many mess ups. So as many times as I messed up today, normally it'd be cut out. But if you guys like doing these live things, we'll try to do it more often. And let us know. Maybe I'll do a poll, and you guys let us know.
Yeah. Hey, man, last episode, I think I edited more of the V word than I ever have
Oh
before.
man.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, and well, see, I would
Beep,
have done it.
beep, beep.
Yeah, I would have done it, but I didn't. It was on another channel that I subscribed to, and I figured, if it's up on theirs. But then I thought about it, and I was like, man, I should have bleeped it out for him.
No worries, man.
But
I got it. I got you. Oh, man.
yeah, thanks for doing that, man.
I
They
thought it was
still
funny.
demonetized it. They
Oh,
still did it.
oh, man.
But
Yeah.
it's not your fault. We're just a target.
Hey, at least they didn't take our channel down.
Yeah, that's
They've
true.
done it before. I love to think, like, whenever I do the bleep, it makes it sound like they're saying a cuss word. It's like, it's like the Biden administration wants to stick their beep in you. Like, it's like, dude, like,
Yeah, it did sound like that.
they,
It was great.
it's so funny though, like, because it truly is being treated like a curse word in the truther community, because you can't say that word without getting in trouble. And so I just love how it's like so obvious what they're doing. Why is it that that's the one word that gets you flagged and banned, man?
And then they made it okay, and then they took that back. Did you
Yeah,
notice that? I got an email saying that it was okay to say what we're not allowed to say. And then,
yeah.
like a couple weeks later, they sent another email saying you can't say this. So they took one of our videos down. But yeah.
Well, all
Anyways,
right, man. I think that
it
was
was
a good
fun.
Q&A. Yeah, thanks guys for tuning in live. Everybody who asked questions and was interacting in the chat, let us know if you want us to do this more often. Leave a comment.
And if you didn't get your question answered, just send us an email, and we'll be sure to answer it. So
Awesome.
have a great rest of y'all's day. We love you guys.
Good night, guys.